Welcome to Hometown Heroes. This is Rick Irving and my co-host Mary Staffeld. And it's early in the week, and we've come off two big events that come up just about the same time, and that's Roll Call, the luncheon at NAS JRB, and then the Gold Star Parents Retreat. So, Mary, it's good to have those behind us. I'm sure you can really say that because
Oh, that's for sure. Now we just got to get through the next I think we're about 2 weeks and we'll have all the major stuff done
you
for mostly for May. Then toward the end of May, we get a little busy again. But
Don's birthday and then the war story. So,
mhm,
but
right.
but Friday we had roll call at the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Fort Worth, and that turned out. I thought it turned out pretty good. There's kind of a before shot as
Right.
just some of the tables were set up, have that huge American flag as a backdrop, but some of the tables didn't show up quite when we needed them, did they? Well, I guess they showed up when we needed them,
Yeah.
but
Yes, barely. Right.
just
Right.
barely.
We had a little challenge there for a minute, but the beauty of the volunteers is that as soon as the tables that we rented did show up, um, they quickly got them set up, tablecloths on them, chairs at the tables, and people were able to sit down and enjoy the lunch. So didn't stop us from starting on time. That was a good thing.
And I did some videos of that. It looked like a ant hill with all those people just running around getting chairs because there was about 400 chairs we had to set up, wasn't there?
Right, right. It was 50 tables and 400 chairs.
Plus
Right. Well, it was a
putting this.
little less than 400. They missed about I think it was about 40 chairs. So we had some backups there. So we were able to get them. The rental company left a rack of chairs behind, but stuff happens, and we were able to recover because we had extras there. We always come prepared just in case. You always have an alternate plan
And
in case.
here's just a shot of the honor guard, and it was all female.
Yeah, they did a great
They,
job.
they
Boy, they
did.
were crisp. They were sharp. Those are high school Marine Junior ROTC, and they were fabulous.
Those high school ROTC programs, man, those people that work with them sure do a good job, don't they?
Yep, and that's Master Sergeant Lacey is their instructor, and out of the International Leadership. I'm not sure if it's academy, but it's in International Leadership School, and he really has those young people wired. I mean, he is doing a great job.
About how many people do you think showed up? I know that you had people making reservations, but some of them canceled. But there were some other people from the base that came. We had a pretty good representation from some of the units on the base.
Yeah, yep. I'd say it's about 750, 700, 750. The challenge was we found out that we were also running up against 7 different ceremonies on base that same day, whether they were change of command, retirements, promotions. So when you have that many things going on base at the same time, it limits the number of those in uniform. And while you see some here in this picture toward the back of the group, mixed in at the tables with our veterans are many uniformed personnel. And the feedback I got from them afterwards was how much they really enjoyed it. And some of them were there the last couple of years and said they just had to be there again this year because they just love meeting and talking with the veterans. So that was really cool. One of them, Emily Barrell, she actually was the person in charge of this the last couple of years. And this year, Chief Petty Officer Scott Murray was, and he did a fabulous job, but Emily was there. And so we visited after the luncheon and she's getting ready to move on to another assignment. So, but he did it. He did a great job, man. And he and I and Bill LaValle, our friend and my friend from my Applebee's days, but now he works with Boomer Jacks. We were the last 3 people to leave
And
on Friday afternoon.
Bill pours it out, man. He works hard.
He does, and he was the first one there with me in the morning. And
because we were moving those tables around in the morning before everybody came, and he was getting it all just right because he's in the restaurant business and he knows how to place everything. So
yeah, that's why I was dependent on him. I said, Bill, this is what I need, and he was like, I got it. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to worry.
He's been a good friend of Roll Call. And, some of these, you see some of the people in uniform, but also most of the people in uniform got up to serve lunches whenever they were serving lunches. So right there's an example.
Yeah. And in the red shirts, you'll see our friends from Granbury Stars, which is an accelerated learning school out in Granbury. And usually twice a year, the April and usually the October or the November lunch, they bring their top students out to serve lunch to the veterans. And we've actually, because we have, I know this is going to sound crazy to most people, but because we have so many volunteers, we've had to limit their number down to 15 plus the adults. They used to bring 30 easily, but we've got so many folks like the Daughters of the American Revolution come, so many from different chapters come every month. And other groups, we had Living Spaces people that are volunteering. They come out. People from Tarrant County Commissioner Manny Ramirez's office were there serving. Some lunches we have people from Navy Federal, you name it. We get people from all kinds of different organizations that want to come out, once in a while. And so fortunately, Steve Gross does a great job coordinating that, so we don't have more volunteers than we have veterans, because that would sometimes be what could happen.
And sometimes we have veterans like Danny Gerald right there standing in the picture. He's a veteran and he's a servant, so he likes to get in there and help. So and
David Dale Stonecipher too.
Yeah.
And a couple of other of our vets, you're right. They serve every month.
Danny and Dale, I've known them probably at least 35 years. Yeah. So, they're good, solid people. And both of them were in the Air Force. We had a great speaker. And this is after he spoke. And there was a pretty good line for a long time to talk to him. And he had a book and purchased his book. So
26. So sold 26 books. And I think had they not been waiting for him to finish and pretty much said, hey, we got to take the table and chairs now. So the table was one of Birchman's, so they needed to get it loaded up. He might still have been sitting there today signing books. But,
very good speaker.
Yeah. And Kelly, who's in the picture also, and I've talked about Kelly before, Kelly Krager there handing him the books is the person who did the interview. And Kelly is a historian out of Texas Tech University. He's got a PhD in history, and he leads the oral history project for the Vietnam veterans. And that is the largest depository of oral histories from the Vietnam War in the country. And that's his baby. So whenever we have an event where we have Vietnam veterans that we are going to be talking to, he's the perfect person to do that because he knows so much about it. So it's pretty cool.
It is very cool. And unfortunately for War Stories, he's already had his family vacation planned. So we'll have a pinch hitter in there. So somebody with the name of Rick. Rick Irving, I think. But you know what, Rick? I know that
a lot about all of these stories too. And you do such a great job on our show that, it seemed the natural thing. We'll just have to figure out who else can take pictures. I
Yeah,
could do okay with my iPhone. I can't do like you do, but I'll use my iPhone. I'll take some pictures.
I use mine a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, they take pretty good pictures these days. I got a
They, sh-
16, a Pro, so I think I could take.
they sure do.
Yeah.
Well, right after roll call was over, I loaded all my stuff up and I went to Wichita Falls to the Gold Star Parents Retreat. Our friend Terry Burgess, we've had him on the podcast several times, and Mike Bozo, another Gold Star dad, was up there, and our good friend and great volunteer Miriam Hink was up there, and I had a chance to sit down with each one of them while I was up there and just kind of dig a little deeper in their lives and learn some things about them that I didn't know. So we're going to share a couple of interviews with these people. The Gold Star Parents Retreat started in 2017, 2016, and now they bring people from across the United States, parents who have lost a child wearing the cloth of our nation. And it's a very unique event. It's really laid back. It's not classes or things, but just a time when these parents that have common come out, they've got this common deal where they've all lost children, and they come together and just do some healing, shed a few tears, do a lot of laughing, and really bond with each other. So it's just a great organization. So this first interview is with Terry Burgess, and I think you'll enjoy it. This is Terry Burgess, Gold Star dad, and he's the father of Brian Burgess. And Brian was killed in action, United States Army, 101st Airborne.
Yes, sir.
What year?
2011.
Okay, 2011. And that was the horrible time in your life. You went into a really dark place.
I did. Just sank into a depression, and it got so bad that Beth was afraid to leave me at home. That she was afraid that when she got home, I wouldn't be there in the worst sense. So she started looking for help, just some kind of therapy or someone to talk to, and she couldn't find anything, Rick. There wasn't anything for the dads. My generation, my dad's generation, we were taught, you hold your feelings in, you suck it up, you deal with it. And I was having a hard time doing that. It was very hard for me. Brian was my world. He was my future. He was my only son. And Beth got to talking to she finally got in touch with some other Gold Star dads. And they said, you know what? We could use some help too. We need somebody to talk to. And a friend of ours, she was in the PGR at the time, and she said, I know Mick and I know Terry. I said, you guys are kind of in the same places. Y'all can't be the only ones feeling like this. He said, why don't we invite other parents? So we did. We invited, I think it went out, it was just word of mouth and online, social media. And we had a lot of responses. A lot of the dads said, yeah, we'll come, we'll see. We'll talk to you about this. And our first retreat, we had 30 families show up. They came from all across Texas. And they said, this is what we've been looking for. This is what we needed. And it helped me as much as it did them to be able to talk, to share my feelings. And they said, I feel the same way. I went through that. I felt that. I suffered in my job. I suffered in my home life. I'm not interested in hobbies anymore. I don't read. I don't fish. I don't hunt. And so we learned that it wasn't just us, and talking helped us learn how to deal with that. And we became an official 501c3 in 2017, and this is actually our 10th retreat today. It's our 9th year, it's our 10th retreat. And since then, we partnered with American Airlines, and they donated miles. So we went from a Texas-based nonprofit to a national nonprofit. We've actually even held one in Hawaii, thanks to American Airlines. And the donations that we get, they go 100% of the program. Beth and I don't get a salary. We don't have any paid employees. We have volunteers. You're one of our volunteers. And y'all do this on your own time, but you do it with your spirit. And our families can feel that. And we've had dads that come reluctantly to the retreat, but by the time they leave, they're hugging us. You know, they want our contact information. They say, "Can I tell so-and-so about you?" Like, absolutely. So, yeah.
You probably hear the rain. It's a rainy day in Wichita Falls.
It has been a rainy, stormy day. I don't think we've had a retreat where it didn't rain.
Oh, and over there in Gainesville, we had a flood that came through
through the chow hall, the mess hall. Yeah, flooded.
But this is the 8th retreat I think that I've been on.
Nice.
And it's always a blessing to be with you and Beth and the Gold Star parents. And, you know, it doesn't take but just a lot of people giving a little bit.
That's it.
And where can they donate?
They can look on our website, goldstarparentsretreat.org.
Okay.
Or they can go on the Facebook page. They can find us. It's easy.
And, you know, those little donations, of course, big donations, if you want to donate $20, $30, $100,000, you'll accept that. But, you know, it's those donations, $10 a month,
yes.
$20 a month, $50 a month. Those help provide the meals, the lodging,
yes,
all the supplies that it takes, the transportation. Because, you know, it's one thing just to fly here, but then we have to have a van so we can pick people up at the airport and bring them back.
Yeah.
And so we just encourage you out there that are watching this to think about investing in the lives of these Gold Star parents whose children have made a sacrifice, but the parents and the families have made a sacrifice.
Yep, every dollar counts. It does.
And tonight is the big night. It's the barbecue night. It's a night when we have great brisket, great ribs.
Oh, man, we have an award-winning barbecue team. They donated the meat. They donate their time. They start cooking on Friday night. So by all day Saturday, we're smelling the barbecue. It's driving us nuts. We're really looking forward to that.
And it's a good time. You know,
I
had this rain is, it's rained something. It's a blessing.
Oh, my goodness.
I hope we don't need an ark. But last night was the first night of the Gold Star Parents Retreat. And this morning I was talking to one of the new Gold Star parents, the first time here. And she said I was really reluctant because I know how these things are. And I just didn't know what to expect. But she said as soon as I walked through that door, I just felt this spirit and this this openness, friendliness, warmth that I don't feel at these other retreats. Yeah. And it's just something that you can't explain. It's just that this love just flows.
It becomes an organic thing. Yeah, it does.
Well, Terry, I appreciate you. I love you like a brother.
I appreciate you, Rick. I'm not sure about the rain.
I don't know how well the audio is going to be with all this rain, but thank you for all you do for our Gold Star families and for veterans, military, because you are everywhere, spreading the word. And always remember Sergeant Brian Burgess.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Rick. We'll never forget him.
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Love you, man.
So that was our friend Terry Burgess. He's been to Roll Call many times, and you know he's just got a heart of gold. I mean, he's on a mission now. He's talking about the darkest days of his life, and now he is helping others. So
and you know, I've watched the movie The Hornet's Nest, and anybody who hasn't and really wants to understand what happens in war. And, that's recent. That was Afghanistan in 2011. And it really touches you, and you can see it. And then maybe if you're curious and you watch it, I really encourage people to watch it. If you've got Amazon, which I don't know anyone who doesn't, you can watch it on Amazon Prime for free. But The Hornet's Nest is the name of it. And it's a documentary, and it has Brian's actual last words in it. And, there's a clip in there of him talking about his kids and that sort of thing. And then you actually see the battle that took his life eventually. I mean, it wasn't immediate, but it was relatively close to the time that he was injured that he passed. But it really is something. And then put yourself, especially if you're a parent, put yourself in a parent's shoes who watches that and sees those last moments and hears the last time he hears his voice, and just consider what Terry must feel when he sees that. And I know that it's been healing for him, and I know he advertises that on his wrap on his vehicle. But there's so many Gold Star parents out there that are dealing with, that same stuff. They just may not have a documentary that puts it right out there, for everybody to see. And it really is something. And I encourage people to go watch it and then understand the price that these people have paid, that anybody like Rick and I and anyone else that raised our right hand, we may not have ended up in the same situations, but when we raised our right hand, we were willing to go end up in those situations. But these folks paid that ultimate price with their life for our freedom. And I think it's important for people to see.
That's right. And, the first time I saw The Hornet's Nest, I watched it with Terry and Elizabeth.
Oof, that had to be hard.
I mean, just to be with them and start watching that show and know what was going to happen. It was a very emotional, it's emotional enough watching it just at home on TV, but when you're with the parents and the family members, it really hits home. And, Brian, he was killed in combat. And there were several of those Gold Star mothers that I talked to this weekend, and it's just really unclear, and it never has been solved, what happened to their sons. One of them was a Marine in Okinawa, and all indications were that he got murdered. Another one was a Army, and he was on the border, and he got killed, but the circumstances surrounding it, it's just hard for them to get the facts from our government about what really happened. But it's just to be with those parents and hear those stories, it just really gets you right here.
Yeah. While I was watching The Hornets, every time I watch it, I'm like thinking of Terry and Elizabeth, and I'm telling you, the crying and the, it made me really emotional. And then when they did the roll call, because, anybody who's ever had to do that, and I've had to do that when we had a suicide, I had to do a roll call. That's hard. It's really hard to stay composed.
It is.
Yeah. You lose your military bearing in a hurry.
Well, our organization, Roll Call, Gold Star Parents Retreat, and all the other organizations, the lifeblood of those organizations are the volunteers. Mm-hmm. And one of our dear, dear, dear friends, Miriam Hink, was pulling double duty the other day. She couldn't be at Roll Call because she was up there helping get ready for the Gold Star Parents Retreat. And then Saturday was the volunteer appreciation lunch for Roll Call. And so she wasn't there, but I had an opportunity to sit down with Miriam, and Miriam is a very special individual in our life and just pours herself out with all her talents and abilities to take care of veterans, military, first responders, Gold Star parents, and everybody else. She's just a real special person. So, and I learned some things I didn't know about Miriam. So I sat down and talked with Miriam, and here
This
she
is
is.
Miriam Hink, and we're at the Gold Star Parents Retreat in Wichita Falls, Texas.
We are.
A rainy day, and
Cold.
it did get cool, didn't
A
it?
little bit on the cool
It
side.
did, and I've got a sweatshirt that I'm going to put on this evening. So
Mine's inside.
yeah, Miriam's a friend of mine, and our paths kind of intersected a few years ago. And you do a lot of volunteer work with Roll Call, the monthly Veterans Luncheon in Fort Worth, and then with the Gold Star Parents Retreat.
Yes, I do.
You've been doing this
About
6
5
years?
years.
Okay.
About 5 years now is when I met Terry through Roll Call.
Yeah.
And I've been involved with Gold Star Parents since then.
So Miriam's a quilter, is that what
yes,
you call
I'm
it?
a quilter.
Call yourself a
Professional quilter.
quilter? Yeah, and she makes a lot of quilts.
Yes.
How many thousands of quilts do you think you've made?
Don't have a clue. I'd say close to 750. A lot of those have gone to the veterans. About 20 per year come up to Gold Star parents. I do have help from my quilt guild, Trinity Valley Quilters Guild in Fort Worth, that some of the gals help me fully make quilt and bind those quilts and gift them to me to give to these parents.
In the quilts, some of the material is donated?
Donated from my quilt guild.
Okay.
They actually give me money, and I go purchase the fabric and the backing, and I have a company that donates most of the batting so that I don't have to be out that money for batting.
And these are nice big quilts.
They're about a 60 by 80s, 50 to 70. So yes, they're a nice lap size quilt. Just so the veterans and the Gold Star parents can snuggle up and stay warm and treasure their loved one that they've lost.
And I've seen a lot of the presentations. I mean, you give quilts. I think you gave a quilt to Helen Patton.
Yes, I did.
That General Patton's granddaughter.
And sent one to her mother.
Oh my!
And got a FaceTime from
How
her mom.
special!
Yes, that's the highlight of my quilting career.
And then probably most of our World War II veterans.
All the World War II veterans, all of our Korean veterans. I'm about 50 into our Vietnam veterans at this time also.
At Roll Call, we have about 1,800 people in our database.
Right.
And about 500 show up every month for
Correct.
our luncheon.
Right.
And Miriam, you're kind of, I call you lovingly the wagon master. Because
some of them call me the drill sergeant.
probably some
I'll
of them
take the
call you
wagon.
some other names. But you, at the luncheons, for you that haven't been to Roll Call, they get served, the veterans get served at the table. So,
yes, they do.
All in about 10 minutes or so.
Yes.
And so Miriam is the one that's out here directing traffic. There's an empty table there. There's an empty table there. We need 4 here or 2 here. Plus, she's an auctioneer, so she knows how to do all that stuff. So
bring them in.
And then you do some other volunteer work for Roll Call besides that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I give gifts. I gift a lot of stuff to the base through, I don't know what's called. I give it to Christine Willison, and that's her job to get it out to the base. That's not my problem. I give it to her, and she gets it out there to the families in need. Through my Quilting Southern Belle that I go 3 times a year, they donate a lot of toiletries from hotels that are unused and or new that they've purchased, and those go out to the military base for those that need a little help along the way because they're E1s, E2s, and they just need a little extra help.
You mentioned Christine. She is one of those ladies, just kind of like you.
Go-getter.
She's everywhere, and she is a go-getter. She's like a little pit bull.
She is. She's worse than me.
Probably even with you, but no.
I thought I could get away with
It's
that.
good. It's good to have people
Yes.
with your temperament, and your personality, that get in there and do stuff.
Not afraid to jump in and get my feet dirty at all. Glad to.
Yeah, and we missed you yesterday because
Yes.
you were up here. I went to roll call. We had an NAS JRB. About 700 people showed up for that, and then today is volunteer.
Volunteer Appreciation Day. 2 times. I've missed both. Sorry.
But we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rick.
You got your volunteer appreciation
Yes.
done right here.
Yes. And it's such an honor for me to be able to be here with these Gold Star parents. I'm not a Gold Star parent, but I have lost a child, and I lost a young man that I pretty much raised, that was had just become a first lieutenant and was coming home to see Ma at Christmas in December 22nd of 2012, and was killed in a vehicle accident coming home. So that's my hero.
But you know, you mentioned that you aren't a Gold Star parent, but you've lost a child, and it, you know, I don't want to take anything away from anybody that's lost a child, but you know, Gold Star parents, you know, they've lost a child wearing the cloth of our nation, but we've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of parents that have also lost a child.
Right.
So
The delineation.
all the same parts are there. You know, there's the loss, there's the grieving, there's
Yes.
the, you know, it's not a get through, it's not
No,
a heal, or I mean,
No.
it's
It's a soul healing weekend up here, that with the rest of these families that are in the same boat, except I knew what was happening and they got the knock on the door.
yeah.
And being able to heal with these families up here, Rick, is undescribable.
Because you have been there.
I've
been there,
I've experienced
and
that.
you've experienced it. Thank God that I never have experienced it. And but you know, the loss is the same. It's just different circumstances. And it doesn't matter, I don't think, what social economic platform you are, whether you're the richest guy in town or the poorest. You
That
still
loss.
have the same process to go
That
through.
heart has a hole in it.
Because that's part of you.
Right.
I mean,
The heart has
it's
a
part of you,
hole.
especially for the moms, because
Yes.
I mean, you
Wow.
gave birth to
I've
that
raised
child.
them myself.
And you know, I think about sometimes when these Gold Star mamas have the dog tags of their child,
Right.
and they hold them, and I think those are, or even holding the folded flag.
Yes.
Those are the same hands that first held that child
Held that baby close to
And
their heart when that baby
nurtured
was first born.
and provided for it. I mean, you have to, with a baby, you've got to do everything for it.
Everything.
And then to see that child grow and develop and mature, and then to lose a child, you know, it does,
It's an empty hole.
yeah.
It's an empty hole.
And so that's kind of brings things to a different perspective, that you have had that same loss.
Yes.
So you can bond,
Yes.
you can say, I know.
Yes.
I can't say, you know, sometimes I'll say, and then I'll catch myself and go, I don't know.
don't know.
I don't want to know.
No.
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 It's
No.
not, and all those Gold Star parents will tell you, this is not a group you want to
Right.
join.
Right.
you know?
We are our own people, just trying to continue our daily lives.
Yeah.
in a functioning fashion. And
How long's it been?
15 years, this September 14th. My daughter waited until her little nephew, her only nephew, turned 1 year old, and on the 4th, and she made it through there. And then 10 days later, God called her home. And I said, take her, God. She needs to go. She suffered.
Yeah.
So it was a hard blessing, but it was a blessing.
You know, you just never know the people that you're with, because
Right.
that's the first time I've heard that part of your story and your life. But you don't know where they are, where they came from, and you see them coping, and just like you just give back all the time to these quilts to bless other people.
I think the giving in my heart comes from, well, I know it comes from my losses. I was also widowed on New Year's Day of '94 at 39 years old. A massive tragic loss to me. So my quilting and giving and just being able to do for others, especially the quilting and the gifting of the quilts to the roll call, that is my family, my heart. This Gold Star parents, I will gift quilts as long as I can run a sewing machine, run my long arm, get some help if I can't see to bind these things, have the cheater glasses to put on so I could still bind them.
That
You know,
happens.
that-
That happens.
It does as we get
sneaks up
over
on you.
39 years old. But yes, it's the giving. I think the giving soothes my soul.
I think so, and you're good at it.
Thank you.
And tonight, we have new Gold Star parents that are here for the first
We
time.
have 11 new families and one gentleman, and he gets a very special quilt that is a red truck. I made that one myself, start to finish. It's a beautiful red truck panel, and when Terry told me that there was a dad, I'm like, I know which quilt he's getting. It's in a blue bag in my room.
Oh, that's special.
Very special.
And those are those gifts that they'll cherish forever.
I hope they wrap themselves in them and wear them out, and then call me and say, I wore it out. I need a new one.
Because those things, those items,
Yes.
you know, just bring back a flood of memories for each one of them.
Yes.
Because it'll bring them back to this day
Right.
in Wichita Falls.
Right.
When
Some strange lady, a strange person,
somebody
gifted them something to warm their soul.
Yeah.
It just warms my heart to the bottom of my heart to be able to do it. And you know that.
I know that. I can
You
tell.
know that.
I can tell. Because I get to witness that.
I
you
know.
I get to witness the good things like that people do.
Yes.
Because right now, we're sitting on the porch of the meeting room that
Right.
we're in, and they're working on crafts.
And we're going in to do crafts in a
We're gonna
minute.
go in and do crafts.
We are, because
those
we'll look
crafts-
at those and remember today forever.
That's right. I've got some that we've done over the years in my study. I've got one in a drawer, and every time I open that drawer, I see it, and it reminds me, one about the Gold Star Parents Retreat,
Right.
and then it also reminds me of those people that I have met that were at the Gold Star Parents Retreat, and
those new parents, when they come in, they're all looking around like, oh, I'm scared to death. I don't know a soul. And now there's 2 or 3 tables of young women in there The husbands are off at another table. The women are all at two different sets of tables. They are just, they have found a new family. They've got new sisters. They've got a tight sisterhood in 12 hours.
Yeah, and this morning I was talking to one of those new
Yes.
Gold Star mamas, and that's what she said. She said, I was really reluctant to come. I don't know anybody, and I've been to these things before. But she said, as soon as I walked in that door, there was just a peace, and there was just such a atmosphere that I just felt comfort.
Yes.
And it's just unexplainable.
It is. It's like the room wraps their arms around you. And then when Carol Savage comes in, that's, she's here. And you are well loved forever.
Yeah, the first time I met Carol, I thought, who is this lady?
Crazy lady.
She is a special individual. And
She is a character.
So funny.
And warmest heart in the world. I went to their home to visit them and pick up some stuff that she wanted to donate to the base. I drove out to God's green acres, wherever, and picked up stuff and donated it to the base. So, yes,
she's
just
special.
another thing to do, to give.
Their son he's John Savage.
Yes.
His father's name's John Savage. He's killed in action. I forget what year it was, but
No clue. For
it's
some
very
reason,
special.
I'm thinking early 2000s, but so.
We've got a special guest coming here.
Oh, we do.
I'm going to get the camera and. We're at the Yogi Bear. Yeah. What's it called? Jellystone?
Jellystone Park at Wichita Falls, Texas.
We're doing an interview here, but we wanted to show Yogi.
Hi, Yogi. How are you?
This is just part of the thrill of being up here with the Gold Star Parents Retreat. So, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this quilt real quick. Do we have it upside down or?
No, we've got it right side up.
Okay.
This quilt is a quilt that I've made it's called a skill builder to help hone my skills on my Gamble Statler stitcher. And these are painted with Inktense pencils. And then I may have put a little bling, some crystals on here to dress it up. And it's going to go into a challenge at my quilt guild in the middle of May.
And it's got a label here that tells a little bit about it.
Label is 30s Pencils Painted Swirls by Miriam Hink, Trinity Valley Quilters Guild. And this blue piece right here, Rick, shows that it's been in the North Texas Quilt Festival in 2023. So anytime you enter a quilt into a large show, you get a label to show where it's been. And of course, being a patriotic person, my sleeves always are patriotic of some sort. So this is just another little something that I just threw it together.
Just threw it together. Looks like it took a lot of work.
It did take a lot of work. The coloring, I haven't colored in a long time.
You actually colored all
Yes,
those?
with pencil colors, and the shadings in the different areas of the blue here and the pinks, the shadings. And if you see, this is the same fabric all over, and you can see where the different swirls are that match what the swirls are there. It's just a different use of that pencil.
You're creative.
I try.
That's a good job.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of this. So
I am too. I am too.
Yeah. So
Well, Miriam, we better get in there and do our craft.
we should before they're all done.
I appreciate you so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
and
God love you.
I love serving with you.
I love serving with you,
you're a
Rick.
great
We
person.
work well together.
Great person and a great American.
Thank you,
And
sir.
you bless my fellow veterans.
I do.
God
And
bless you.
God bless you. And thank you for your service to our country.
Love you.
What a wonderful person that serves so many people. And, I didn't realize about the losses that Miriam had
Ah,
and how that doing that heals her and helps her cope with those losses. So
right.
you just never know. I've known her for years and I just never have sat down to talk to her.
Yeah, yeah. She had shared that with me some time ago. But yeah, she is. She's pretty special, and those quilts, they mean so much to the veterans when they get them. And she'll even, when we have speakers, she makes sure the speakers get quilts. It really is very special. When I retired from the Air Force, she was there. She gave me a quilt, and I have that quilt, and I'm gonna do what she said. I'm gonna wear it out, and then I'm gonna go back and tell her I need another one.
Oh, she's a special lady.
But I mean, and they're so well done, and that the Quilters Guild, we've gone there to present to them a couple of years in a row, probably maybe even 3 or 4 years in a row. They've had an appreciation lunch, and we get to go out there and share what it means to our members that receive those quilts, and share what we do so that everybody there knows, and share pictures of our veterans receiving the quilts.
Yeah,
And those pictures are usually the ones you've taken.
I got to go there one year and speak on behalf of Roll Call and thank them for their donation and all the work they do. And they're just a lovely group of quilters. So
yeah, they are.
Well, that Gold Star Parents Retreat. This is Terry Burgess. He's fixing to kick it off, and then they have a roll call where they call the name and ring a bell, and then show the child on the screen, and then the parents stand up whenever their child's name's called. So a very moving and emotional time. The Saturday morning, we had a police escort and the combat vets motorcycle group took us, and we had a police escort, 2 buses, and we went to the Gold Star Families Memorial Monument Woody Williams Foundation does. And for a lot of those Gold Star parents, it was the first time that they had ever seen one of these monuments. This is a group of them. Some of them stayed back at the cabin, but they're just everyday people that have suffered that loss. And they're just sweet people. One picture that I do every year is whenever I take a picture of the Gold Star mamas, then I want to be in that picture because those are some special women. And then here's Miriam. She's had them open their quilts, and she's presented it to them. And then just beautiful, beautiful quilts that she does. And then she has a picture of each one of the recipients or the couples with them. But she's a special volunteer. And these are some special volunteers too. On the right is Dawn. She's been coming for several years. This time she brought a team. She's a massage therapist. She's a sports medicine therapist. She's got all kinds of degrees. But during the course of the retreat, just about everybody gets a massage. And, they just come there at their own expense from Stillwater, from that area, and come down to serve the Gold Star parents and the staff. This is our friend. This is Troy Milton. He's a good friend of Don Gray's, but we're always talking about networking. For several years, we had the Gold Star Parents Retreat in Gainesville, Texas, and we're moving over to Wichita Falls. And I said, Terry, I know a guy that I think will help us. And Troy has been instrumental. He gets everything coordinated up there. The motorcycle police, the combat vet motorcycle club gets the buses donated. He gets food donated, meat donated. He's got a team of these barbecue guys that come out on Friday, cook all Friday night and all day Saturday. And he's an Army veteran, so he's a good guy. And they love me up there. So this is
Oh, that's great.
they kind of surprised me. But but they do love me. One last interview I want to do is with Mike Bozo, and Mike and Delisha. They've been involved. I think they've been involved with Gold Star Parents Retreat since I first went 8 years ago, and it's just a network deal. I met Terry and Mike and Alicia at Delisha. I met them at a Brothers Keepers mixer. But this is our friend. This is Mike Bozo.
Mike Bozo, and Mike's a longtime friend of mine. I guess we
Yes,
go back
sir.
to about 2018.
We do.
And we are in Wichita Falls, Texas, up at the north part of Texas. I guess
A spring sunny, nice spring sunny
we've had a
day.
good rain today. Haven't
We are, we are.
You know, it was about 2017 that we were at a mixer for Brothers Keepers, and Terry and Elizabeth Burgess, Gold Star parents, they were there, and they had just come back from a trip from Utah with my brother Ken.
Yes.
Were you on that trip too?
No, I wasn't on that trip. I did one. Actually, my first one to Utah was last year,
Okay.
and it was awesome.
It was good.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Brothers Keepers is an organization, and Jack Fannin, he was an air, what do you call that?
Forward Observer,
Forward Observer,
Yeah.
combat
support.
control
I think
or
he was
something.
Air Force. I think it
Yeah,
was.
he was Air Force,
Yeah.
and he was one of those guys that goes with the Special Forces or the Special Ops.
He wore a
guys.
beard while he was active duty, kind of like my son did.
Yeah. And he was the one that directed all the aircraft in.
Right.
So he had an accident, a training accident, where he was doing a night jump, and his goggles kind of flew up, and he couldn't, the night vision goggles, so he couldn't tell about where the ground was,
Right.
and broke his neck and almost died.
Yep.
Quadriplegic, but he and some other guys started this organization, and so they help people that are quadriplegics, amputees, have mobility issues, take them some phenomenal places.
They are.
Granite Ranch, have you been to
Granite Ranch, I've been there twice. I'm going again this year. Now that's an experience.
That is an experience.
It
And
is.
there's a guy, Ronnie Raines,
Yes.
I mean, a Vietnam veteran, but he's just a guy that he's created some businesses.
He's made it in life, but he's one of those that made it in life that is totally giving back.
And totally giving back.
Yeah.
He keeps giving back, and it's just phenomenal
Yeah.
what he does.
Yeah.
He's got a ranch down in Junction, Texas. He takes a lot of the special ops guys there,
Yep.
so they can decompress. He brings his helicopter in so they can do tandem jumps. He's got their guns and everything else, and that barn that's a bar. That's like a museum.
Do you know that bar was the actual bar they used in the movie Lonesome Dove?
Yeah.
And he bought the bar.
Yeah, and then he's got the car club. But anyway,
Yeah.
he's a guy that God's given him a lot, and he gives it back,
He does.
and he likes to be in the back. I mean,
does.
he don't want anybody to
No.
say, hey, this is great.
You could go to one of his retreats and not necessarily know who he is
Yeah,
for a day or two.
yeah, yeah. But he takes care. He takes care of our veterans.
He does.
He takes care of our Medal of Honor recipients and our special ops guys, because especially the special ops guys,
Yeah.
they need that.
They do.
They do. But anyway, that's where we met.
That is where
And-
we met. Yep.
And you and Terry and Elizabeth and Delisha, y'all were sitting at a picnic table, and I knew y'all were Gold Star parents, and I just didn't know what to say. But I kind of walked over there and sat down, and y'all were talking, and then we started talking, and that's how we all met.
It was. Yeah.
And then the next year, in 2018, Terry called me and said, hey, will you come to the retreat and take pictures?
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, sure. After I went there, it was one of those experiences that I thought, I don't ever want to miss the Gold Star Parents Retreat.
We've seen you ever since.
And it's you can't get rid of me.
Good. Good.
But it's one of those experiences you just can't explain. People think all these parents are coming there and they're just going to be sitting around crying and just moaning and groaning and it's not like that at all.
It's not a kumbaya.
And it's not a training class and,
No,
and
there's
how
no
to get over
classes.
this or how
No,
to cope
none of
with
that.
this or how to do this.
Yeah.
It's just a time for people to come together.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the Gold Star moms last night, and she said, I was kind of reluctant to come here because, the atmosphere of these kind of places.
Right.
But she said, as soon as I walked in the door, it was like a breath of fresh air.
You feel it as soon as you come through the door. And I love, especially the new timers. I as you know, I do the travel stuff for people flying in and out. And sometimes I almost have to coax them. I've had a few phone calls where people say, I don't know if I want to come. Trust me.
Yeah.
Just trust me.
Yeah. And that's what they have to do is just trust.
Right.
It's not even a system. It's just a thing.
Right, it is. Yeah, there's no real plan to this.
No.
There's a general plan when you come and visit a Gold Star Parents, but it's very fluid. It can move and change as it has on this trip.
It has.
Yeah.
And you see the new people coming in.
Yeah.
And just as like she said, as soon as she walks in the door, she felt that. But you could just kind of feel the love and the arms wrapping around those new people by the other Gold Star parents and by the people that are like me that haven't lost a child, that are blessed to be here to witness that. And it's just unbelievable.
You just bringing that up, talking about feeling the love when you walk through the door. I'm glad you're bringing that up because this is I think it's my 8th year, 7th or 8th year.
I think we're both on the same one. I
Yeah.
think it's about the 8th one.
And when I started the first year, I was exactly that person. You're
I know.
timid, but real quickly you feel the love. There's something special that happens in there. But 7, 8 years later, it's nice to hear that reminder that people can still walk through that door. When I started here, I was still in the valley, the dark place, and I knew right off that eventually I wanted to be a part of it and be able to help the new people coming in. And to a small degree, that's what I'm doing today.
And that's what I remember about you and Delisha, because y'all came in and y'all were in a bad place.
We were.
And I saw the other parents wrap their arms around you and love on you.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of tears. There's a lot of tears and some solitude, some time that you went to spend alone and Delisha, and then come back and we don't all just have tears, but we have a lot of fun.
Right.
But then to see the next year y'all come back, and it's like you have your arms open wide for those new people that are coming.
Right.
So, it's a remarkable event.
I love it. It's a goal of mine now to help people transition from. You never forget, Colby is always going to be gone. To a degree, he's gone. There are times when you can definitely feel your child, but I love watching people grow and be able to get up and walk on their own again.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't have the experience of loss of a child, but it's not anything that you get over or get through.
No.
It's just you just learn to live
You do.
and make the very best
Yes.
of that situation.
Yep.
Because just like Terry, he was in a dark place.
Oh yeah.
And he could have, it could have been a deal where nobody knew Terry Burgess.
Right.
But he rose from that dark place,
Yep.
and now he's helped thousands of people. Not just the ones that have come to the
Right.
reunion, but where he goes to speak,
Yeah.
all the events he goes to.
There's a term that my wife uses, and it's carry on.
Yeah.
Because it reminds us that we're still carrying that load, we're still carrying that memory, but we're moving on. We'll carry on. Yeah.
And so you are now an integral part of getting all these parents from other parts of the country to Wichita Falls.
I help a little.
Yeah, you arrange a lot.
Well, we had a busy day yesterday. We had some weather.
You have all the
Yeah.
weather and all the airport closings and delays and things, but you do a good job.
Well, thanks.
And everybody appreciates you.
Well, I appreciate that.
But tell us about COVID. That's why we're here.
Right.
To remember and never forget the children. So Kobe?
Well, and I won't start with how we lost him. You know, I'll just tell you a little bit about him. Growing up, he always loved Army clothes. He would love camo. He always wanted to be in the Army. He just loved it. And another thing about Colby is you could count how many times on one hand that back in the day when you could spank a child, you could count on one hand how many times we had to spank that young man.
He's a good kid.
He was a really good kid. Another thing about him, you have to search for a picture all the way from childhood to adulthood to where you don't see that young man smiling. This picture here is very typical. He was a very happy man, very joyful. He was just one of those easy children to raise. We asked him to give college a try. He wanted to go straight into the Army after high school. He agreed. That didn't last long. And at 18, when he turned 18, he said, I want the Army. I want to go in. Once he went in, he was a kind of a joker, quiet mama's boy. And he had something in that brain of his that turned him into a Special Forces interrogator. And he just turned into something real special.
He found his niche.
He found a niche. He was so good at it, they actually they'd fly him around the different countries if they had a problem child that they had to deal with. And they'd bring him in, and I guess he had his ways. Yeah. Now, as far as his loss, I don't know if that's pertinent here. He's lost.
No, I
okay.
mean, that's
well, okay. I want to tell
the story.
I want to tell your viewing audience and remind you again, as you already know, something really special about Gold Star parents that just, man, it touches my heart. You don't have to be. Typically, Gold Star, as a lot of people know and some don't, started in World War II. When you drove by someone's window and you saw a Gold Star in the window, that meant they lost a soldier. Well, Gold Star parents, they decided to do something different. If your son or your daughter served and they were lost while serving, be it combat, be it suicide, be it a training accident. In our case, it was a stateside murder. They welcome you. And as far as I know, it's the only organization in the country that takes any parent who has lost a child while serving. We lost Colby stateside. And it was a sad story. Some of your listeners might even remember it. It went national news. He'd been married for 90 days. He was driving home from the hospital with his bride. Their first child was due in 3 weeks. A person who was just out of prison on a previous murder conviction was running from the police in a residential road, T-boned him at 85 miles an hour. Mm. We lost him immediately, and this happened about 10 minutes from where we live. Kristen, his wife, died. They revived her, died, revived her. And the tough part is his son, Brody, was basically born on care flight an hour after Daddy died. So that young man shares his daddy's birthday is the day that his father died. Well, that's how we lost him. And then after that, you've got a year. You could tell me what I did 6 months after that. We don't remember.
You were just in a fog.
We were in that. I remember it was like a pit. You could see the light, but you didn't know how to get there. And that's how Gold Star and Brothers Keepers. There's a ladder over there, Mike. Start climbing. It was saved us. Yeah.
And so that journey started then.
Yes.
And you're still on that journey.
We are. We will be forever.
And you always are talking about Colby.
We do.
Because you always want to remember him and say his name and make sure that the world knows
Yes.
who Colby was.
Yes. And that's something I found that Gold Star parents do. They love to talk about their child. And that's when we need to stop and let them.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Last night, on the first night of Gold Star Parents Retreat, we have the roll call
Yes.
for those sons and daughters.
That's the tough one. That is the moment where
That's a
Terry and Beth almost didn't do that the second year, and I told him you got to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because Terry calls the name, they ring a bell, call the name, and those parents stand up.
Yep. Put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. And that way, the other parents know, they see a picture of the child
Right.
and who the parents are.
Right.
And there's some tears.
That is a tough one.
There's some tears.
And I keep my eye on the new parents when that happens, so I know who to make a beeline to, or my wife needs to know who to make a beeline to after that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have a great support system.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Troy Melton.
Oh, Troy.
And Troy, you know, it's all about networking in life.
Yes.
We were having a retreat in Gainesville, and we were going to move to Wichita Falls, to this place here. And I said, Terry, I know a guy. His name's Troy.
Yeah.
He knows a lot of people.
Yep.
Troy has been absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
And he's arranged every year
Yep.
to have food donated,
Right.
and like some really good meat
Well,
donated.
it's basically, they call it championship barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
They've been working on it for 24 hours.
The barbecue men, these local guys,
Yep.
they bring their big pits out here
Yep.
Friday evening,
Yep.
and they start cooking. And they cook all night.
They
There's
do.
somebody here stoking the fire.
Yep.
And they cook all night,
Yep.
all day. And in a little bit, they're going to take those briskets and the ribs off those grills,
Yep.
and we're going to eat. We're gonna,
Some of the best you've had.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then after that, we're just going to kind of hang out and talk.
Yep.
We had a good evening last night
We
with some really good supporters.
Yeah.
Mike Brower and his wife Kathy, they came up here.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you the story because Mike lives in Plano. I'll go ahead and tell you the story because
I'm here.
Mike lives in Plano, and he travels all over the world extensively. I mean, every time I see him on social media, he's in a different country.
Yeah.
And so he kind of thought that Wichita Falls was in the Panhandle. And so he lives in Plano, and he booked a flight to Wichita Falls. Well, it took him longer to get to the airport
It does.
than
Yeah.
and to get this 28-minute flight.
It's less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get mad at me, Michael, whenever you see that. But it's a funny story, and what a great couple. And they're great supporters.
I met them for the first time last night, and we really connected. He started his career path just the way I did. But boy, Mike, you made a couple good decisions early on, okay? I applaud you, sir, but it was such a pleasure to meet you and get to know you and your wife. It really was.
And they're going to get more involved, I think, with the
It
Gold
sounds
Star
like it.
Parents Retreat. So
He was involved in Kill 22, starting that, just so many.
oh, he's a United States Marine that takes the hill on everything he does.
Yes, it appears that's the truth,
Yeah.
yes.
But that's just some of the supporters. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday at Roll Call. That's a monthly Veterans Luncheon, Carrie Ortigal. And she said, I just love Terry and Beth, you know, and we donate to the retreat. And I said, you know, we appreciate that because that's how it helps us
Right.
here. And American Airlines, you know, they do a tremendous job.
I worked for American Airlines for 38 years as an aircraft mechanic. They donate, and that's another one. Kudos to you guys at American. They donate our
Stillinger,
miles.
yeah.
Randy Stillinger, they donate miles to us, so we're able to fly our people in, and that's just what a blessing that is. It takes that burden of trying to raise all of that extra money for flights.
Yeah, and
American Airlines takes care of us.
American Airlines, you know, Randy moves people around the world. Our veterans that go to Normandy, the World War II guys,
Right.
you know, Americans involved in that in a big way.
Snowball
And-
Express.
Yes, Snowball Express.
Yeah.
And then the dignified transfer whenever a service
Right.
person is killed, where they do the body, you know, they bring the body back.
That's his job. That's what
Oh,
he
yeah.
does at
Yeah,
American.
and you probably witnessed some of those while you were working there.
Yes, I witnessed many of those, and we would show up,
Yeah.
to those. Yeah.
Just to honor those people.
Yeah.
You were in the Air Force.
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do in the Air Force?
I did 6 years at Langley. I started out on F-15s. I was an engine mechanic. Nothing real spectacular there. Did a couple things while I was in it. It was a quiet time. It was early 70s. But I was very fortunate. I got to use my practice a couple times in real life. Then after that, went and got my A&P, and American Airlines picked me up. I was real blessed. I did a whole career, 38 years at American.
Wow.
Retired 3 years ago. So both my boys were in the Army, and I'm really proud of that. I was the first one to go into the service in our family tree. 2 of my 3 boys followed, but they were Army. And they used to always harass me about the chair force, you know. And they both did tours overseas. They were combat tours. And I would remind them, I says, okay, and I won't use the word I want to use, but it begins with S. Okay, so when the S hit the fan, what did you want the most? And I would say, it was an A-10, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right, Dad. So, yeah.
So what's on your agenda? I mean, after the retreat?
After the
you
retreat.
worked hard for the
You know what?
retreat?
I just stay busy around the house, but I'm actually thinking about, I don't want to say an offer or two, but I've had a couple people tell me, you know what? I wouldn't mind you doing something for me, or you should go finish your degree, or, so, you know, I feel I'm 65, but I'm in relatively good, right, that's it. You know, is there something more for me? So I'm kind of looking right now. I might do something.
Well, you know, if you're going to finish your degree, I don't know if you know about the Hazelwood Act.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I'm a Texas vet.
That's a good way to
That
go
is
to
a
college.
good way to go.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's like 160 hours of state-supported school.
They'll pay for my degree to finish my degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a way to
I'm
go.
glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it, but other people now they may be aware of
And
it.
if I had been aware of it when my children were below 25, I mean, because my wife and I are both veterans, that's 320 hours of
You
stuff.
may not know this, but last time I checked, you can pass it down.
Yeah.
And I don't know how far down the tree
I
you
don't-
can go.
But I think there might be a
Is it
cap on
just-
the age, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a cap on
But
the
for the
age.
younger folks out
Oh,
there that
yeah.
aren't going to use it,
Yeah,
look into that. You can
Yeah.
pass it down.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you got a motorhome and you do a few long trips every once in a while?
Well, you know, we spent so many years, 38 years, we loved to travel, but it was always point A to point B. We got a motorhome in retirement. Now I get to drive, and now I can stop by and see the world's biggest ball of wax, or the largest Bowie knife in the world on the side of the road, or, you know, what have you. I really enjoy driving the motorhome. Yeah, we go all over the place. We really enjoy it. It's here.
I like to watch those trips whenever you post them on social media.
That's all Delisha. She takes care of all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, she loves posting it.
You've worked hard in retirement. I mean, to get there, you worked for
We
the
did.
airlines, and
Yeah.
Felicia was a school teacher. So.
She was, yeah. She did 22 years as a school teacher. She probably would have worked a little longer doing that, but the dynamics of being a teacher have changed so much.
Oh yeah.
She just couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a great evening planned for us, and the weather's finally it's stopped raining.
Thunder and
And
lightning.
thundering. You've probably
Yeah.
heard some of that thundering. It wasn't the artillery from Fort Sill shooting
Right,
down here,
right.
but we've got a good evening, and tomorrow's another one of those days that you hate to see this retreat come to an end. A lot of hugs and a lot of new friends.
There are more smiles
Yeah.
leaving than coming.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you, and let's always remember Colby.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
And God bless you too, my friend.
Love you, brother.
Just another great American that we have the privilege and honor to know, and an Air Force veteran at that.
Yeah. And I love it that he mentioned, you know, well, who are you going to call when you need help? I guarantee you're going to call the Air Force.
That's right.
Like I always say, you know, we all have choices. Choose wisely. No one's getting drafted today. So.
But he and Delisha are fine people, and they love to volunteer. On the Hazelwood Act, is it your children can use it until they get 25, or is that true?
26, and
26.
that was, it only went into effect in 2009. So anybody that served before 2009, it wouldn't even be eligible. It's 150 hours at a state school, and that's part that a lot of people don't. They think they can use it at Baylor or TCU or that thing, but it's because it's not like there's not a check that's written. It's just that fee is forgiven. The tuition is forgiven. It's not charged. So at any state school, any public university in Texas, as long as they're a Texas resident, the child, it can be passed down, but only one child at a time can use it. So if you have more than one child, that's within that age range. But once they turn 26, and they've aged out. I know my youngest, who would have been eligible to use mine, joined the military, so he had his own. But then the one before that, my middle child, who has the most college of all of the children, she finished in 2009. In August of 2009 is when the new GI Bill came. And when the new GI Bill came that you could pass on to dependents, that's when the Hazelwood changed to go to also to dependent children, not spouses. That's a big difference between the GI Bill, the post 9/11 GI Bill, and the Hazelwood, is that the post 9/11 can be passed on to spouses, but the Hazelwood cannot. It's only to children, and one at a time can use it.
I knew you were the person to ask.
Yeah, that's what I did in the Air Force for many years, was counsel people on how to go to school for free and working in education and training at the wing. Yeah.
Well, we've got this weekend behind us, and we've got some things coming up. And this is just initiative Roll Call has to sponsor a veteran to show your gratitude and support. And for just $20 a month, you can feed a veteran lunch and assist in the outreach program that Roll Call has. You go to roll-call.org and find out more about that. Don Gray's birthday coming up, May the 3rd.
Yep, it's going to be a full birthday. A lot of people. And so I know we mentioned this last week on the show. I'll mention it again. There will be valet parking available, and it shows you at the entrance of lots B and C, and there will be signs for that. And that's $20 per car. If you get there early enough, even though there's a Rangers game that night, they think that the parking lot across the street will still be open for free if you get there early enough. So I would say that you'd probably want to be in that lot no later than 2:00, but the party is 12 to 3, but it's a come and go. So if you can't be there at noon, but you can get there at 1, 2, whatever. We're going to really kick off the sing happy birthday and do gift presentations at about 1:00, somewhere in that ballpark. We'll have the flag out there, the American flag and the Marine flag, and we'll have those situated in such a way that folks can take pictures with Don in front of the flags. And it'll just be a really special day. But of course, Don doesn't really need any gifts. The presentations we're doing are kind of special ones from some different organizations. And but if you want to do something in Don's honor, here we have the scholarship that we're doing for a Marine ROTC, junior ROTC student at Irving High School. And so if you scan this QR code, you can go ahead and go out there and actually, and it's on our webpage as well, but you can actually do a donation, and any amount is appreciated. These are just young people that may need a little bit of help as they go off to college. So we'd like to be able to give a scholarship in Don's honor. And that's a way to honor Don without giving a man who's turning 100 years old and needs absolutely nothing. That's a great way to honor him, is through this scholarship.
And then we'll have war stories, and this is May the 8th. You go to roll-call.org, find out more about that. It's going to be a good night. We've got 4 combat veterans. They're going to tell some stories. You can have spaghetti dinner, and it's only $20. So there's still some seats available. So check that out at roll-call.org. Then on Memorial Day, Monday, May 26th, they've gone at no expense to get this stellar person to be the keynote speaker at the 96th Fort Worth Memorial Day service at Mount Olivet Cemetery. And the one and only Mary Staffeld is going to be the keynote speaker. I can't wait to be there.
I sure hope I don't disappoint. But, you know, I've been to this ceremony the last couple of years, and they really do it right. You know, it really is a great ceremony. And if you haven't been, I recommend people go. You will remember that Memorial Day is not about barbecues, though that's a great way to celebrate the life of the folks that we're remembering that day. But sometimes we forget that Memorial Day is about those that you were just talking about, Rick. It's a perfect tie-in because this is about those people who have lost their life in service to their country. So what better way to honor them than to go to a ceremony and remember them, and then go and have your barbecue, but celebrate and remember why we're celebrating that day, why we're, because we're not, I don't like to call it a celebration so much because it's more a remembrance, right? But great tie-in with our topic today of Gold Star Parent Retreat, because those children that have been lost are exactly the people that we want to honor on Memorial Day.
Absolutely. And then the first annual gala for the Tip of the Spear. This is an organization that goes to Ukraine and teaches the Ukrainian people how to find landmines and how to disarm them. That's coming up at the Dallas Country Club. And then July 31st is the Fort Worth Stockyards Patriot Roundup, and that's with the Air Power Foundation. You can go to airpowerfoundation.org and get your ticket. The tickets are on sale, and it's going to be a great night down in the stockyards. So just a lot of stuff coming up, Mary.
Yeah, and more stuff gets added every day, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
This has been a good podcast today. Got to meet some of our friends and volunteers like Miriam Hink. She's a great person. I just want to give a shout out. You know, there's always those people that go to things like the Gold Star Parents Retreat, and they kind of take having fun to a new level. And this is kind of the rowdy girls. These are some of the Gold Star parents and a Gold Star spouse, but they had a good time and really made some lasting friends. So what a great bunch of people. We'll see you next week, and we're going to leave and let you hear our friend Don Graves sing God Bless America. So we'll see you all next week on Hometown Heroes.
Are you ready? Yeah. Sing out. Here we go. God bless America, land that I love, and beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, from the ocean, I will fall. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home.